Hi everyone, it's Matt. I just wanted to follow up my introduction to bird watching video with a little walk down the river, and I just wanted to see what different types of river birds we might see along here. And so I woke up quite early this morning, and I'm going to walk towards Meadowhall. I'm not sure whether I'll make it down there, but I'm going to go along the Five Weirs Walk, and hopefully we'll spot a good variety of different birds that you'd often find along here. So this white goose you can see is a domesticated goose, and it will have been domesticated from usually a grey lag goose, and it's found its way out into the wild again. So we're on Effingham Street, and this is a good place to see the domesticated goose. They're always nesting along here, so very frequently along this section. Got a really good view of a heron here. I'm just near Norfolk Bridge. The heron is one of the UK's tallest birds, and it lives in colonies of heronries that can reach up to 200 in total. And you'll often find them skulking along the riverbank, looking for fish to pounce upon. But they'll also eat things like frogs out of ponds, or even small mammals, or even small birds. And they've been known to eat up to the size of a coot. So it's just stalking something in the water here. This is a view through my binoculars. Oh, it just got something. Just got a little fish. Nice. So here we have two Canada geese. By nature they're migratory, but those living in the UK tend to be resident birds. They're easily distinguished by the neat flying V that you can see flying overhead, which they do during long migrations. So I've made it to salmon pastures, and I've got a good view of two mallard ducks here. They're just giving themselves a little preen. And it's a male and a female. The male at this time of year has a really green iridescent head. It looks really beautiful this time of year, and it'll lose that at the end of the mating season, and almost become the same colour as a female, and they can be quite indistinguishable at that time of year. The quack that you often hear made by mallards is always done by the female, which is quite a cool fact, and it's used as like a hailing call to the ducklings to come in if she's lost them, so she can find them again. He's a male mallard giving itself a bit of a preen, and the difference that you can see between a male and a female is called sexual dimorphism, and it's particularly apparent in mallards, with the male being quite green, whereas the female being quite brown. And this is because the female needs to be camouflaged when it's sitting on its nest, and because it has an open nest it's quite exposed. So this is why you get the difference in the plumage between the males and the females. I'm just downstream of Stevenson Road, and this is where you'll often find sand martins in the spring and summer months flying around in groups, chasing and catching insects, and they're quite distinguishable from their relative, the house martin, in that they have a brown wing from above, and then you can see their white bellies as they twist and turn in the air. and the Latin name is riparia, meaning that it's by the river, and so you'll always find them by the river. They like to nest in colonies in sandbanks traditionally, but anywhere with a little crevice they like to nest. So along here they used to nest in the walls, but a lot of the walls got filled in and displaced the sand martins, so they've got nest boxes now just near Gripple, which we'll see later, and up near Blonk Street Bridge as well. Starting to get quite a few good interactions with the sand martins. They're flying really close, and there's quite a lot of them now. This is just on the bit between Stevenson Road and Newhall Road. So we can see the sand martins flying about above the river here, but then they're also landing on this little curb edge, and it looks like they're collecting nesting material. So you can see them landing down there and picking up lots of little bits of mosses or twigs, and they'll take them back to the nest so they can have their eggs in it. It's hard to see, but there's a goosander just going under the bridge there. This is quite a good spot because you don't often see them, and they're usually here in the winter months. But if you look closely, they have quite a hooked bill, and this is to catch fish. They're a predatory bird, so they'll dive a bit like a cormorant under the water and catch fish. So I'm just here at Brightside Weir, and this is one of our fish passes we've had installed along here, and I'm just next to Forge Masters, which is that big building you can see in the distance, and to my left hand side is Gripple, and this is quite a beautiful river scene because I can see lots of sand martins flying around in groups, chasing each other, catching insects on the wing, and they're going in and out of the nest box which has been installed over there. It's like a little apartment block for sand martins, and they're starting to build their nests now. And then in the middle of the river we've got a cormorant, and it's just sat on a rock in the middle of the river looking around. And a bit like the goosander, it's a predatory bird, so it'll dive under the water, but to keep itself dry it has to bathe in the sun with its wings open, and you might have seen this before. And this is because it doesn't have a preening gland to keep its feathers waterproof, so it has to basically drip dry in the sun so it doesn't get too cold. So I'm back at the starting point now, back at Blonk Street, and the Five Weirs Walk is one of my favourite walks to do. There's always plenty to see, and as you can see we've seen loads of wildlife, and so hopefully it's inspired you to take a little wander down the river and see what wildlife you can spot. Okay, see you soon.